Green Lantern, 2011, movie synopsis by Zillur Movies recapped. Thousands and thousands of years earlier than the Earth was fashioned, a bunch of beings referred to as the Guardians of the Universe used the inexperienced essence of willpower to create an intergalactic police drive referred to as the Inexperienced Lantern Corps. They cut up the universe into 3,600 sectors, with one inexperienced lantern per sector. One such inexperienced lantern, Aben Sur, Tamwara Morrison, of Sector 2814, defeated the fear essence being Parallax, voiced by Clancy Brown, and imprisoned him within the misplaced sector on the ruined planet Riot. Nevertheless, within the current day, Parallax escapes from his jail. 6 months later, after killing 4 inexperienced lanterns and destroying 2 planets, Parallax assaults Sector 2814 and mortally wounds Aben Sur, who escapes and crash-lands on Earth. The dying Aben Sur instructions his ring to discover a worthy successor on the planet. Ferris plane check pilot Hal Jordan, Ryan Reynolds, is chosen by the ring and transported to the crash website, the place Aben Sur appoints him a inexperienced lantern, by telling him to take the lantern and converse the oath. At residence he says the oath of the inexperienced lanterns whereas underneath trance from the glow of the lantern. After he is attacked whereas leaving a bar Jordan swings to punch one in every of his attackers, letting out an enormous fist of inexperienced power. Afterward, Jordan is whisked away to the inexperienced Lantern Corps residence planet of Oa, the place he meets and trains with Tomar Rhee, voiced by Jeffrey Rush, and Kilowog, voiced by Michael Clark Duncan. He encounters Corps Chief Sinestro, Mark Sturdy, who just isn't happy that a human which is primitive in comparison with different species has turned out to be a inexperienced lantern. With Sinestro seeing him as unfit and fearful, Jordan quits and returns to Earth, holding the ability ring and lantern. In the meantime, after being summoned by his father Senator Robert Hammond, Tim Robbins, to a secret authorities facility, scientist Hector Hammond, Peter Sarsgaard, performs an postmortem on Aben Sur's physique. A bit of parallax contained in the corpse inserts itself inside Hammond, mutating the scientist and giving him telepathy and telekinetic powers, at the price of his sanity. After discovering that he was solely chosen attributable to his father's affect, Hammond resentfully makes an attempt to kill his father by telekinetically sabotaging his helicopter at a celebration. Nevertheless, Jordan makes use of his ring to avoid wasting the senator and the occasion friends, together with his childhood sweetheart, Ferris supervisor and fellow Czech pilot Carol Ferris, Blake Energetic, who later acknowledges Jordan underneath the go well with and masks. Shortly afterward, Jordan encounters Hammond, who succeeds in his second try and kill his father by burning him alive. Each Jordan and Hammond notice Parallax is on his approach to Earth. Again on Oa, the Guardians inform Sinestro that Parallax was as soon as one in every of their very own, till he desired to manage the yellow essence of worry, solely to turn out to be the embodiment of worry itself. Believing the one means to combat worry is by worry itself, Sinestro requests for the Guardians to forge a hoop of the identical yellow energy, getting ready to concede Earth's destruction to Parallax in an effort to defend Oa. Nevertheless, Jordan seems and tells Sinestro to not use the yellow ring and for the Corps to assist him defend his planet from Parallax's imminent invasion. They deny his request, however enable Jordan to return and defend his residence planet. Upon returning to Earth, Jordan saves Ferris from being injected with Parallax's essence by Hammond. Parallax then arrives, consuming Hector's life drive for failing to kill Jordan, after which wreaking havoc on Coast Metropolis. Jordan arrives to do battle with the Monster, even drawing energy from his new calling's oath to face the foe. Having gained his enemy's full consideration, Jordan lures Parallax away from Earth and towards the Solar, utilizing the Solar's gravity to drag and disintegrate the entity. He loses consciousness after the battle, however is saved by Sinestro, Kilowog, and Tomar Rhee. Later your complete inexperienced Lantern Corps congratulates him for his bravery. Sinestro tells Jordan he now bears the duty of defending his sector as an inexperienced lantern. Someday later when he's alone, Sinestro, nonetheless in possession of the yellow ring, locations it on his finger, inflicting his inexperienced go well with to alter to yellow alongside together with his eyes. Inexperienced Lantern is a 2011 American superhero movie based mostly on the DC Comics character of the identical title. The movie stars Ryan Reynolds, Blake Energetic, Peter Sarsgaard, Mark Sturdy, Angela Bassett, and Tim Robbins, with Martin Campbell directing, a script by Greg Berlanti and comedian e-book writers Michael Inexperienced and Mark Guggenheim, which was subsequently rewritten by Michael Goldenberg. 4. This was the primary DC movie since Catwoman to not be concerned with legendary photos. The movie tells the story of Hal Jordan, a Czech pilot who is chosen to turn out to be the primary human member of an intergalactic police drive referred to as the Inexperienced Lantern Corps. Hal is given a hoop that grants him superpowers, and should confront Parallax, who threatens to upset the stability of energy within the universe. The movie first entered improvement in 1997. Progress remained stalled till Greg Berlanti was employed to put in writing and direct in October 2007. Martin Campbell was introduced on board in February 2009 after Berlanti was pressured to vacate the director's place. A lot of the live-action actors had been solid between July 2009 and February 2010, and filming passed off from March to August 2010 in Louisiana. The movie was transformed to 3D throughout its post-production stage. Inexperienced Lantern was launched on June 17, 2011, and acquired usually adverse opinions, with folks criticizing its poor writing, dangerous CGI, uneven tone and lack of faithfulness to the supply materials. The movie underperformed on the field workplace, grossing $219 million towards a manufacturing price range of $200 million. It was additionally initially supposed to begin a movie franchise based mostly on DC characters. Nevertheless, because of the movie's adverse reception and disappointing field workplace efficiency, Warner Bros. Scrapped plans for a sequel, opting as an alternative to make use of Man of Metal because the official begin of the DC Prolonged Universe, 2 years after Inexperienced Lantern's launch. Plot: billions of years in the past, the Guardians of the Universe use the inexperienced essence of willpower to create an intergalactic police drive referred to as the Inexperienced Lantern Corps. They divide the universe into 3,600 sectors, with one inexperienced lantern per sector. One such inexperienced lantern, Aben Sur of Sector 2814, defeats the malevolent being Parallax and imprisons him within the misplaced sector on the desolate planet Riot. Within the current day, Parallax escapes from his jail after turning into strengthened by an encounter with crash survivors who had by accident fallen into the dugout, the place Parallax was imprisoned on the deserted planet. Parallax feeds on their worry to realize energy earlier than pursuing and mortally wounding Aben Sur, who escapes and crash lands on Earth, the place he instructions his energy ring to discover a worthy successor. Hal Jordan, a cocky Czech pilot working at Ferris Plane, is chosen by the ring and transported to the crash website, the place the dying Aben Sur appoints him an inexperienced lantern, telling him to take the lantern and converse the oath. Jordan says the oath and is whisked away to the Inexperienced Lantern Co. RPS residence planet of Oa, the place he meets and trains with veteran Corps members Tomar Rhee, Kilowog, and Corps Chief Sinestro, who believes he's unfit and fearful. Jordan, disheartened by his excessive coaching periods and Sinestro's doubts, quits and returns to Earth, holding the ability ring and lantern. Scientist Hector Hammond is summoned by his father, Senator Robert Hammond, to a secret authorities facility to carry out an postmortem on Aben Sur's physique underneath the watchful eye of Amanda Waller. A bit of Parallax contained in the corpse enters Hammond, giving him telepathic and telekinetic powers at the price of his sanity. After discovering that he was chosen for the key work solely attributable to his father's affect and never for his personal talents, Hammond makes an attempt to kill his father by telekinetically sabotaging his helicopter at a large occasion with the usage of Parallax's energy. Jordan saves the senator and the occasion friends, together with his childhood sweetheart Carol Ferris. Later, on the authorities' facility, Hammond makes use of telekinesis to efficiently kill his father by burning him alive. Hammond additionally elevates Waller excessive above the ground. As she's falling, Jordan arrives and saves the injured Waller by making a pool of water which whisks her away out of additional hazard. In the course of the encounter, Jordan learns of Parallax coming to Earth. On Oa, the Guardians inform Sinestro that Parallax was one in every of their fellow Guardians who tried to manage the yellow essence of worry, solely to turn out to be corrupted himself. Arguing that the best way to combat worry is with worry itself, Sinestro requests that the Guardians forge a hoop of the identical yellow energy, getting ready to concede Earth's destruction to Parallax in an effort to defend Oa. Jordan seems and tries to persuade the Guardians that worry will flip the customer's evil if its energy is used. However, they reject his pleas, and he returns to Earth to attempt to defeat Parallax on his personal. Jordan saves Ferris from Hammond after a short showdown. Parallax arrives, consumes Hammond's total life drive, after which wreaks havoc on Coast Metropolis. After a fierce battle, Jordan lures Parallax away from Earth and chases Jordan throughout the photovoltaic system. Parallax is inadvertently caught within the Alpha Centauri's gravitational pull and is destroyed, whereas Jordan escapes. Jordan loses consciousness after the battle and falls towards the star, however is saved by Sinestro, Kilowog, and Tomar Rhee. Your complete inexperienced Lantern Corps congratulates Jordan for his bravery. Sinestro tells Jordan he now bears the duty of defending his sector as a inexperienced Lantern. In a mid-credits scene, Sinestro takes the yellow ring and locations it on his finger, inflicting his inexperienced go well with and eyes to show yellow. Summary's reckless Czech pilot Hal Jordan is granted an alien ring that bestows him with otherworldly powers that inducts him into an intergalactic police drive, the inexperienced Lantern Corps. In a mysterious universe, the inexperienced Lantern Corps, an elite protection drive of peace and justice, have existed for hundreds of years. Reckless Czech pilot Hal Jordan acquires superhuman powers when he's chosen by the ring, the willpower-fed supply of energy. Reluctantly at first, he takes on the problem after the loss of life of Aben Sur, the best inexperienced Lantern. Placing his self-doubts apart, and spurred on by his sense of obligation and love for his lovely, intellectually equal colleague, Carol Ferris, he's quickly referred to as to defend mankind from Parallax, a robust, evil being who feeds on worry. Hal Jordan is the universe's final likelihood, as many inexperienced Lanterns have been killed and the Corps is weakened, and he may simply be the best inexperienced Lantern for the obligation of holding the world secure from hurt. The Guardians of the Universe have divided the universe into 3,600 house sectors, each protected by one highly effective inexperienced Lantern, chosen amongst fearless beings and provided by a hoop fed by the willpower from the planet Oa. When the evil drive Parallax that's fed by worry destroys a number of inexperienced Lanterns, Aben Sur flees in his spacecraft, however crashes on Earth. Mortally wounded, his inexperienced ring seeks out a successor for him and finds the reckless however environment-friendly Czech pilot Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan learns concerning the inexperienced Lanterns and is bestowed with the powers of the ring. In the meantime, scientist Hector Hammond is summoned to conduct an post-mortem of Aben Sur and is possessed by Parallax. Hal Jordan is insecure about his fears and makes use of his powers for the primary time in a celebration to avoid wasting the life of individuals from a Ferris plane helicopter broken by Hector, and later he discloses his identification to his former colleague Carol Ferris, who's the attractive daughter of Carl Ferris and his love. When Parallax threatens Earth, the inexperienced Lantern Hal Jordan is the final hope to defend his planet from destruction. I've the Inexperienced Lantern comics, numbers 49 to 51 circa 1993. The place Hal Jordan goes loopy and smashes the principal energy battery on Oa, and provides up his GL standing to a brand new inexperienced Lantern. However, Hal Jordan has at all times been inexperienced Lantern to me, even with different folks placing the ring on through the years. This movie accounts the story of how Hal Jordan was chosen by the ring, because the dying Aben Sur sends out the ring to discover a successor. To not get into an excessive amount of a spoiler right here, so I will not say how that occurs within the movie, which is barely completely different than the unique, origin or inexperienced Lantern tales I've learned after I was a child. Suffice it to say, the individuals who made this movie had a long time of inexperienced Lantern tales to get right into a 2-hour movie. And so they did it good. I noticed this in 3D and it was satisfactory 3D. The look of inexperienced Lantern was form of a mix of all of the completely different adjustments in costume he had through the years. Ryan Reynolds was an excellent Hal Jordan, and Blake Energetic a really excellent Carol Ferris. Plenty of the characters from the comics are on this. There's a Pieface. However, he isn't Asian. There may be an look by Sinestro, who on this movie is the pinnacle of the inexperienced Lantern Corps, which incorporates veteran inexperienced Lantern Tomar Rhee voiced by Jeffrey Rush, and Michael Clark Duncan voicing Kilowog. All a lot beloved GL characters, and the looks of the inexperienced Lantern Corps was an excellent thought. The Guardians of Oa regarded very similar to they regarded within the comics. They named not one of the Guardian actors save Warren Burton and Salome Jens, who was the principal form shifter in Star Trek Deep House Nine. The remainder of them are, properly they're simply Guardians. The evil entity Parallax was voiced by one in every of my favorite actors, Clancy Brown. So far as manufacturing, some nice names popped out throughout the credit. James Newton Howard did an excellent rating, on par together with his King Kong rating, and the entire manufacturing was designed by one other who labored on King Kong. Oscar winner Grant Main, who had that very same job in Lord of the Rings trilogy. And the costumes had been accomplished by one other Lord of the Rings veteran, Nagila Dixon, one other Oscar winner. So far as the director, I had by no means heard of Martin Campbell apart from Online Casino Royale and Vertical Restrict. However, one title did come out. Stuart Baird, a veteran editor, who has edited some nice movies all the best way again to the Donner model of Superman 2, Gorillas Within the Mist, and naturally he directed Star Trek Nemesis, which one quite favored. In Experienced Lantern being one in every of my favorite comedian books after I was a child, I used to be very gratified to see this film. They actually didn't take very many liberties with the tales which they cultivated to make this movie, so I give it a 10. Principally as a result of I can care much less what anybody's lame gripes about this movie are. I totally loved it. It was accomplished very properly.